I'm Princess Serena, not Princess Serena, and this is my entire pin collection. So, welcome to the pin video of all pin videos, where I walk you through my entire pin wall and beyond it. This has been a couple months in the making, just in time for my 2025 iteration of my pin wall tour. I have been teasing the last couple months, reconstructing everything behind me, and that I have. I was on a mission to find vintage-esque frames, get black felt and some cork, and make some cute frames. And let me run the stats by you, because you do not understand. And I didn't understand what I was getting into, to be honest, while I started, but I saw it through. I went to 14 value villages, 5 Salvation Armies. I got 3 rolls of cork, but I used 2.5 of them at Michael's. I got so many black pieces of felt. The large ones were a godsend, and the smaller ones as well. And here we are. I would say I more than succeeded. I'm gonna go through my reorganized, reframed, and even redisplayed. So like all the frames are new, but also the pin collections in them are completely reimagined. I even downsized quite a bit of pins, though you wouldn't know looking at my wall. So without further ado, let's get into it. We're gonna start on the little part that's actually not on this pin wall. It's slightly over technically onto the wall next to it. So this is the only board that I've kept in the exact same place out of like, I don't even know how many boards I have to count. But I love the Alien Remix board. I actually did move it a little higher just to fit a few more other things so they weren't too low. I put my Camp Rocket Jonas pins together. I actually downsized a couple of them away. I decided just to have one of each brother, couple from the movies, and then Jonas Does Indeed Rock. So had to keep that one from the Paris set. I actually downsized a few of these type of pins away, kept my favorite, and also having less pins in general just gives the attention more to the actual set. That's the main focus on this board, right? And then going down, I have some more Disney Channel. Again, bridging Disney Channel. There is a line you could follow through for like Pixar and Disney Channel. They all connect. These are my only Proud Family pins. I love them because some of them literally had the same stock photo. Like there was another one that had these, they looked the same. And the Target exclusive set was like soft enamel. So I just wanted to keep the more unique ones, and I'm super happy with that. Also, it is very sparkly. Some of them have the sparkly felt. And then coming down here was my absolute dream come true. Realized my baby, my first non-Once Upon a Time pin being a centerpiece of a board. Though it's on a completely different board. I just showed all of these pins in a recent video earlier this year showing this collection, and this is the only authentic pin. It is all of the movie posters when they won for Best Animated Feature. I just am missing the Up one, though I'm not actively looking for it. Up would be my least favorite of those 6. I still really like Up, but these are just like up there, lack of better words for me. Then coming down here, I've shown this in a short a while back. It is actually the first pin board that I put together out of all of these because I had the clearest vision for what to do with this board. I knew it was going to be Wally and Eve in outer space. And yeah, these are all my Space Wally pins. I love them so much. Then moving a little back here is a set I kept intact, and I will always be, just because it's not the same stock photo of Remy. If it was, I probably would have got rid of a lot of these a long time ago, but the hide and squeak pins are among my favorite. Then down here are some more miscellaneous Wally pins that don't technically fit a theme, because over here is my last Wally board that's all of the Earth pins. I tried putting the boots in the center, but first of all, less of them fit, and it was just overwhelming, the whole board. Also, I love like the frame that like a more striking, brighter color for this, a more brassy type of color. This little guy will not stay straight, but it's okay because I've grown, well, he'll slowly come down and bow to Eve's knees over there. But I actually grew to really like that position. It's really cute. And down here, and I felt like they didn't go with their respective movies or TV shows, and of course this doesn't go with anything. So I was like, okay, you know what, this kind of is Disney Channel night, like for Minnie and Mickey, right? They're dressed up as Disney Channel characters. Isn't that what Disney Channel night was all about? The profiles are kind of the centerpiece, but it is like imbalanced. It's not perfectly centered. And also Ron is not the same size as these two. They're not in the same series. There was no other profile to go with them for Ron, but I needed Ron and Rufus, so it was a twofer over there. And I also really like how these two are together because I've had this pin for so long, but you can't display both sides. But now it's almost like I can because it's similar that it shows the same sayings. Cheerleader by day and crime stopper by night. For here's my first big board. So it is all my Lizzie McGuire and Hannah Montana pins. I did not get rid of a single Lizzie McGuire pin. I decided, you know, all soft enamels going out, but I did not have the heart to get rid of this soft enamel one. It's a really good quality soft enamel, unlike those Proud Family pins from Target. Interesting, both of those shows didn't get any pins of any other characters. Put these in a beautifully bright pink frame. I was nervous I wasn't gonna go with the rest of the aesthetic for the boards. It sort of doesn't. But tell me why it works. Well, because I have some purple boards as well. And also, I opted to put this as a centerpiece. It is an LE2. It is plastic, just like different generations of Disney, all the girl characters. I love it. Thought it was perfect. You even have Tangled the series in there and Gravity Falls. It is a dream. So thank you, Harry, again for designing the pins of my dreams. This is the only time where I'm like, okay, I'm actively going to keep a space because I am going to get that yellow Mexico pin. It is available on eBay, but it's just way more than I want to pay for it. Just like how I could have got the United Kingdom and France a long time ago. This one it took a while to place, but I'm really happy. It's very balanced. I didn't want it to seem boxy. My PTD board, I love it so much. It is mostly Disney Channel. We're waiting for Candace. We're waiting for any Disney Channel character. I am ready. And up here is my first High School Musical board. This is of the first two movies. You have this beautiful fantasy pin as the centerpiece, as it always should be. It is gorgeous. My only fantasy pin of High School Musical. I love the bright colors and all of the blue too for the second movie. And then here, I had to, first of all, for size, I had to split it up. And there was no question how I was gonna split it up because the third one, look at all of these reds and blacks and whites. It's so pretty together. And again, with these bigger pins, usually bigger pins mean fantasy, but these are official. I didn't want them to take over the board at first. Like my first instinct always is to put the centerpiece type really big gorgeous pins in the middle like I did for Perry, like I just did here. But for Wally it didn't work, you know, it just looks better in the corner. And for this, again, it looks better off to the side as well. Just it all fit like a glove. As soon as I figured out where to put those three, literally everything else fell into place within a minute. And then my Once Upon a Time. So this was the hardest, not this board in particular, but just in general. So many Once Upon a Time pins that I wasn't planning on downsizing any. I was like, how am I gonna group them all? So this is the easiest one to decide, to do all the full body ones. And then I have a lot of smaller pins too that are themed to Once Upon a Time, so I spread them out on respective boards that made sense. So for this one, I put the Once Upon a Time storybook because it's like all the characters, right? I think that looks so beautiful, and also it's perfect that Henry is a kid and is shorter, so he fit there, whereas all the other characters wouldn't fit. Coming down here, okay, so I had a really tough time thinking about how I was gonna put the Disney Channel pins that only had one or two pins. And then also these two, I was like, well, not Dave the Barbarian, that's the only one, but like for Kim Possible or for Lizzie McGuire or Penny Proud over here, I was like, do I make them all centerpieces within their own collection? This is before I put Lizzie here. This was one of the last boards I decided on. But then I was like, you know what? It'd be really cool to just put one pin of each show or movie that I have. And if there's two, then I'll put two. Thank goodness none had three. But yeah, so technically I did keep a couple more Hannah Montana pins. I only downsized one away, by the way, in the end. Wizards, we have Harry's beautiful fantasy pin design, and then the only official one in existence, like the logo, like you're watching Disney Channel. I got rid of most of the Disney Channel in general pins, but I kept this one, like just my favorites. I kept this one is just so colorful and sparkly, and I kept the purple TV one. Other than the High School Musical ones, it was very easy to decide which ones for those. I just did the 3 posters. The rest that like have actual boards like Phineas and Ferb and stuff, I'm like, okay, which pin best represents the thing that it is? So Camp Rock, it's the gang. And then I did, you know, Camp Rock 2. It's technically a different movie. It is. Yeah, putting the Sunny's a Chance and the Disney Channel games. Jonas, I kept one more. Can't get rid of Cusco here for Emperor's New School. But yeah, moving down here, we have Playhouse Disney. I did not get rid of any, but in the future, if I need this board for something else, I can see myself just keeping 1 or 2 of each show instead, like of my favorites. And then here is my other Phineas and Ferb pins that are not of Perry, though of course he still makes an appearance on this board as well. You know what else does? My own fantasy pin. Busted. There needed to be one of the best Phineas and Ferb song. The only other acceptable answer is Squirrels in My Pants. That is also a top tier song. Oh, and of course I made the She's So Gone pin here as well. And Harry made the other lemonade mouth pin. It's really cool that between the two of us, we make up the only pins in existence of lemonade mouth. Moving down here are my fantasy pins. So you may wonder why this is not on a black background. It just didn't look good. So for the uninitiated, my favorite show, entering Storybrooke, entering the Enchanted Forest, entering Neverland, and entering Oz, which was perfect because like that came out in 2024, just like Wicked. And now, well, Frozen's coming out in 2026, but in 2025, you're getting a Frozen pin from me. Anyway, so yeah, I needed room to grow, but I didn't want it to look too empty. Then I have some Tangled the series. This is a board of a singular pin. It's the only Tangled the series pin that doesn't match my main focus of the show that I collect, that I refuse to get rid of. And I think this is the most perfect board for it. It doesn't seem like there's a gaping hole because it is circular. And then, this. Because I wanted to build a board around the Wanted poster. At first, I was going to do the Evil Queen and Snow White, and I'm like, you know what? I didn't realize I have 3 pins of like the badass version of Snow White, like the bandit version. Snow White and the 7 dwarves, right? Dreamy, grumpy, and happy. And then this is my favorite board. Like, I'm not saying the display. Of course, it is one of my favorite displays too, but honestly, it is my favorite board itself, and I knew something special had to be here. It was giving princess vibes. Closest thing I have to like a princess collection is this board, because you have Snow White and Belle, right? And then this centerpiece is this gorgeous Captain Swan pin with Captain Hook and Emma Swan. And then each couple I gave its own pin. So like that represents the couples. Up here, this is the highest board, though it's not too much higher than the rest, just for perspective over here. But this is what I call my Storybrooke board. Granny's Diner and the yellow car, which you can see her yellow bug up there, and then also in this pin. So I think that is beautifully displayed. Very impressed. I mean, I'm very impressed with all of it, but this is when I'm really impressed with my creativity of how to split the Once Upon a Time pins further. Then coming down here, I did not change this board at all. In the future, I can see splitting the blue haired cast and the dark wraps pins, and I do want to have this kind of on its own board, but I need filler pins around it because it just looked too empty. And then coming down here, I have my theater pins. This did have a black background because this one I didn't actually make. I got it pre-made at a pin event. Not the playbill part, I did that, but just the black background and the cork behind it. But I got a bunch of Broadway pins. I got them sent to my grandparents' Arizona address to save on shipping, because I don't want to spend more on shipping than the pin, like for smaller pins, you know, to Canada. I reorganized this whole thing and it looks so good and so full, and I have a couple already to go here that I'm going to get. Once Upon a Time profiles from this series from Once Upon a Pin Co. These are the OGs. What's beautiful is I'm not going to be like, oh no, there's a new one. Like, nope, it's only this series, right? The only two I'm missing on here is the green skin variant, which I had the opportunity to buy a couple months ago, but I decided, you know what, I don't need both. While I was organizing this wall, I actually had the opportunity. If I had the opportunity earlier, I probably would have bought it. So I'm glad I didn't. And then you may be wondering, where is the Evil Queen variant? There's no way she downsized that. That is her favorite character. Well, you are right, because if you move over here, I have an Evil Queen board. So I kind of already put all the other boards in their designated area. This board does not hang up. I wanted it to be a silver board specifically, and this was just the perfect size. And this is great because it's on kind of my nightstand so I can see it all the time. This is really one of my favorite boards. It's my favorite color and my favorite character. So it's all the purple based ones. And it's great because there was even filler pins that were also purple. This is technically Rumple themed because it says magic always comes with a price, dearie. But you know what? She is the prime example of that, so I think that's great. And also I have another version of that that's black that could go with his character. Only thing that didn't connect, Pixar. I know we haven't seen Pixar in a while, but here I cannot let go of the only fake pins that I have willingly, knowingly in my collection of the fish bags. And then I made it surround the cluster. And then when you go down here a little bit, I have my dated Fan Expo pins. So I started going in 2021 because Lana was supposed to be there but canceled. 2022, she was supposed to be there but canceled. And then I finally met her, so it's a superhero of a year. And then 2024 when we met some HSM characters, which is amazing, unreal. Also, I skipped over this pin that's not on a board because with these boards not being as strong, because I made them myself, I did not trust it to hold such a hefty board, a hefty pin, because it is a pin. But look, like it is a 3D diorama pin. So I think it looks great in the corner there. This is the Dark Ones board. Emma Swan was the dark one for like a second. Not my favorite part of the show, but it is one wicked pin. All magic comes with a price, dearie. Just like all pin collections come with a price. Hefty price. But it is so beautiful. Floating ahead here to say that's it for the pin wall. But wait, where are all the travel pins? You can't possibly have thought we were done there. So the pin wall has expanded to a pin room apparently. No, it's not all pins my room, but this is another section because also these two I couldn't hang up. So I was like, well, why not put the ones that I could here? It was just perfect. So I'm not gonna go into detail because again, I did a whole travel collection video recently, but these are my Canadian pins for my travels / where I live. And where I have lived in the past, because I have lived in 3 Canadian cities now. Polaroid camera, just cute vibes, because it's travel, you take photos, right? And this is all my US pins, including Disney World, Disneyland, and the Disney store. Speaking of Disney, we have my Disney trips / hotels I've been to. And we have Europe, that is not Italy. Such a cute little board, can I say? I was gifted this board from a family friend. These are all my cruise pins and the islands I've been to in the Caribbean. This is my North America board to go alongside the Europe one, but this one's a little less sad. No, it's cute, the Europe one. But US, Canada, and all the states and provinces, and of course, the continent. It's just very satisfying to have that as kind of the completer pin of that collection. Even when collections don't exist, I make them myself. And then my ski pins, I was thinking about adding it with my Canadian pins, but decided to do its own, and I'm really happy. Some Ariana pins have snuck into my shadow box here of all my concert tickets I've made for myself of her 3 world tours. So I have Sweetener, my favorite album of hers, No Tears Left to Cry inspired pin. I have Dangerous Woman here with the One Love Manchester symbol, and then a fantasy one. They're all fantasy except for the One Love Manchester pin. Some Thank You Next and tour inspired pins here. Break Up With Your Girlfriend, Thank You Next. And of course, Positions. No Eternal Sunshine pins exist yet. I would love one, please, pin creators out there. Italy. This is my other favorite board, and it's a similar style, right? So it makes sense. It's so beautiful, and I'm actually happy these ones didn't make it on the pin wall. Even if I did have room, they're not overshadowed by all the big fancy pins, right? And this I didn't show, so I'll spend a little longer. Look at this frame. Can we take a second? The hat and like the diploma and all these things. Humber, close enough. Undergrad, postgraduate certificate program, and then my master's program at Windsor that I got the day of my convocation. They gave it to us as we were getting off the stage, so that's super special. Here they are in the context of my room. These two are among my most special travel slash, this isn't travel, but you know, non-Disney. Well, these are also Disney. You see, it's hard to categorize things. You know, pins are multifaceted, but it is nice that they kind of get their own spotlight. And then those are my trader books and my fantasy pins. Also, I did not get rid of the rest of the Once Upon a Time pins, as I was alluding to, but you may have wondered in the back of your mind, there's no way that was it, because I had a huge Once Upon a Time pin board. But I have a board that's gonna go there, but I'm waiting to spray paint it because right now it is currently a bright lime green. So, but I really liked the aesthetic of the board, and it's gonna hang up and everything. So I was like, I gotta spray paint it silver, but I'm waiting till the snow melts. And as you can see, it's almost gone. I mean, now most of it is gone. It only started melting this week. It is the 3rd week of March as I'm filming this. In the interest of saving wall space, I decided holiday pins are gonna be only displayed during said holidays. I have all of my dated Hanukkah pins here, all the way back from the year 2000. And then I have all the other holidays here. So one Valentine's Day, a Passover, only one exists. All the Rosh Hashanah pins that exist. I love that it perfectly fits a row. That does not give Disney permission to stop making them though. And then all my Halloween pins, Disney Channel and all. I feel like it all started putting them away because I decided the aesthetics of the Halloween ones didn't really go with the other boards, but I didn't want to get rid of them. So they look great together. Even snuck in a Halloween Haunt pin from Canada's Wonderland because I've been to that before. And then a couple of Christmas pins. To Pinfinity and Beyond is the perfect way to describe this lanyard. So it's all of the pins that I want to have, but they do not fit my collection. Look, I have a few more interactive pins I forgot to show in my interactive video. So if you liked that video, a little conclusion, Easter egg in this video. But yeah, for one reason or another, they represent my childhood or just things I really like. And if I want to add more, because I know this is an easy collection to get out of control, I need to get rid of pins. So I actually downsized quite a few of these away to add the newer ones I got. Like, well, the High School Musical one isn't new, but I decided it fit this collection more than the movies. And I kept it because I actually went to that tour. Only Murders in the Building is a newer pin I have, and the Severance pin. Here's an overview of the gorgeous view I have from my room every day. My pin wall. Well, pin walls. Then my Ariana up there. Stream Eternal Sunshine Deluxe version. I already know it's gonna be amazing. Extended intro. We are spoiled. So many overviews. So that's it for my entire pin collection, for now, of course. And if you haven't already, please subscribe for more pin-related content from me, where I'm absolutely planning to do more in-depth videos in each individual collection, like Once Upon a Time and Disney Channel, Pixar, you name it, I will be making the videos. It's so interesting because walking into this project, I knew I was gonna downsize pins, but I had no clue which ones. I kind of let the frames and how I naturally grouped them together kind of inform what wasn't gonna make the cut, and I'm surprised at the outcome. Like, I really thought I was gonna try to be a High School Musical completist for life, and I only had 4 pins I was missing, but I got rid of the plastic ones. I just not that exciting, you know. I really focused on the ones I really liked and fit within a group of pins. I got creative, including that one pin there that is in its own group, but it's just that powerful of a pin. So if there was a will, there was a way, and if there wasn't a way, it was going into my traders, and then I can get more pins that I like. Not that there's any room except for that Doofenshmirtz Mexico pin, but we'll figure it out along the way. It's going to be interesting. Definitely going to reimagine the Tangled the series board. I had a blast doing this project. Like, I didn't even touch on in the intro just how much planning went into it as well to like optimize my time dedicated to this, to like reaching as many thrift stores as possible en route. Like, I created routes of like 3 to 5 different thrift stores that are like kind of somewhat in the same area or like on the way to each other. I considered vlogging it, but it was already so much work doing it. So I just went on a whole adventure myself. Forgive me. Blasting my music and my podcasts in my car. It was a phenomenal experience. Highly recommend. But please let me know in the comments your favorite board of mine, whether it includes like 20 pins, 10, or 1. It is still a board. It is still valid in its existence. I have no idea how this is going to change next year, as I say all the previous years. I will insert photos of my background of all my previous iterations of this. I've managed to find a way to change the background over the years, so I'm really curious to see if this is the end-all be-all. Highly doubtful, but I also don't see a way how it can't be at this point, so time will tell. And as always, take care of yourselves and have a magical day. Bye.